What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with 11 weeks out physique update of the greatest Iranian athlete who ever lived, the Persian wolf, Hadi Chupan. So is there anyone in the men's open bodybuilding who can beat Hadi Chupan, especially in that most muscular shot? So this is him at 11 weeks out. And just look at the striations across his chest and his shoulders. It is exactly because of that insane quality that Hadi brings to the stage that so many other guys look kinda soft and watery standing next to him. And this is why the reigning Miss Olympia, that Glennsford, also struggles against him, because his weaknesses gets more pronounced. And that is why Garrett really needs to bring up his chest. So Hadi looks so insane right now, and he is on a mission, and that is to win back his Miss Olympia title. So he only posts a little portion of his workouts on the social media. And you bet that this guy must be destroying those weights in the gym day in and day out. So we all heard that wild rumor when Hadi Chupan was prepping for the Arnold Classic that he was training 3 hours per day at one point. And he was doing the same amount of cardio as well. And it actually showed on the stage. Because Hadi absolutely walked all over that competition. It was a total domination by him. And at no point it seemed like he was fighting a guy who is the biggest bodybuilder in the men's open right now. And that is of course Samson. So anything can happen on the day of the show. You can miss your mark. You can mess up one variable, and that can really affect your peak. But the way our top 2 from last 2 years, they have been going so hard at it. It is more than probable that once again we are gonna have the same top 2 as the last 2 years. Hadi versus Derek for the Olympia title. But do let me know what you guys think. Can any one of the other guys, like Samson or Nick or Andrew, can split these two? Next up we have an 11 weeks out physique update of the greatest classic physique athlete. And the record speaks for itself. 5 times Olympia champion, going for his 6th title. And not to mention one of the most influential guy in the bodybuilding world right now, Chirs Bumstead. But I have to say this one is kinda different, as he has a family now. And that is why Chirs wants to take on this challenge, that he can balance all things and still be the best in the world. So right now Chirs looks extremely impressive, and for this far out of the show. In fact, he looks too good for 11 weeks out. So throughout his career, he has solely focused on winning just one show, and that is the Olympia. And it has worked perfectly well for him so far. But the thing is, this is the year which Chirs wants the bodybuilding world to remember as his best ever. So he ate like an absolute machine after his off-season started for this year. He followed Honey Wimbor's plan to the dot and got to 165 pounds. And now they are slowly coming down. So at this point, all he has to do is to be careful and stay injury-free. Make sure nothing bad happens for the rest of the prep. And going by how he has been training in some of his recent videos, things are looking pretty good. So last year Chirs tore his lat at about 10 weeks out of the show. And yes, that is considered so close at such a high level. And he was only able to have a proper back training, like 4 weeks out of the Olympia. And still he was able to win that show. I mean, that is how dominant this guy is. He is one of the most dominant champions we have ever seen in the bodybuilding sport. So can someone beat Chirs Bumstead at his very best? I have to say the chances of that happening, they are very little. But do let me know what you guys think. Next up we have an 11 weeks out physique update of the former Miss Olympia, Brandon Kerry, training outside for his sponsors while the crowd filmed him. So considering the fact that Brandon just got back to Kuwait, and as per his former coach Abdullah, he wasn't eating or training well in the off-season, the man has bounced back extremely fast. And actually that is how it goes for all these guys, because he has that insane muscle memory. So Brandon is looking really big and really round in some of his recent training clips. Obviously we haven't seen his legs, and at this stage of his career, he will be happy if he can present the same size that he had back at the Olympia 2022, where he placed 4th, because there is just no way he can improve his quads, which have always been a stubborn muscle group for him throughout his career. So the thing is, you cannot expect him to do some kind of magic and bring up his legs at such a late stage of his career. Because if that were to happen, it would have already happened. So Brandon doesn't seem to have any injuries whatsoever. And that is something to talk about, because even his Olympia career, that is stretched over 14 years, as Brandon made his Olympia debut in 2011. So I'm sure you guys all remember, last year before the Olympia, he got really sick just 3 days before the show. He could not eat at all for almost 24 hours. And that must have really affected their carb loading process. That must have really affected their peak. But still he was able to place top 4. And something tells you that despite him not being in the best condition up on that stage, the judges still like his overall look, because he has that crazy roundness and 3Dness and bubbliness to his physique. So my question to you guys is this: do you have Brandon in your top 4 again this year, especially with the mutant coming back? The beast AKim Williams was spotted guest posing in Japan yesterday. So why don't people talk about AKim Williams' arms? He has some of the biggest arms in the current bodybuilding. So what makes AKim very unique is the fact that he is a mass monster. He carries a tons of muscle and a lot of mass, but still he has an insane V-taper. Especially when he is in the pose. When he hits the shot, he looks absolutely stunning. Plus, his side shots are also so damn incredible, because only if you guys have so much detail on the side of the legs as AKim has. So it is kinda too bad that his back has been melting for the last few years now. Especially since the Olympia 2022, where AKim placed his best ever top 6 in the world. So this year, after watching AKim, especially at the Arnold, finally nailing his conditioning after so many years, and that was with the help of Chris Bumstead, that gave all the fans this hope that he still has some gas in the tank. So AKim was outside of the top 15 at his last Mr. Olympia, which was in 2022, and he will definitely be looking to make up for that. So for him to place top 10 this year, he needs to be better than how he looked at the Arnold, Ohio. So that look that he presented at this year's Toronto, where he won against Quentin Beastwood and John Jewett, that look won't be able to place top 10 at this year's big show. Next up, we have a physique update from the Cali Pro champion, Tonio Burton. So it took him 3 attempts to win a pro show this year and his Olympia qualification, starting from the Arnold Brazil to New York Pro to California Pro. So he got a bit unlucky in Brazil, because there was a solid argument for him winning that show against Rafael Brandao, but New York Pro, where Tonio entered as the defending champion. So him not being able to place top 2 in that show, that was a huge loss, because that also minimized his chances of improving his placings at this upcoming Miss Olympia. As we all know, Martin Fitzwater was able to beat him quite convincingly, and Martin is another one of those guys who is going to be making his debut in 11 weeks time, and who is also a very solid contender for the Olympia top 10 this year. So Derek, Hadi, Samson, Nick, Andrew, Brandon, Hunter, that is your top 7 right there. And then we have guys like Rafael Brandao, Muhammad Fada, Martin Fitzwater, even Behrouz Tabani, and some other guys like William Barnack fighting to place really high. So Tonio can certainly beat some of these guys from the back. He has one of the most complete backs in the men's open, but he needs more size from the front, especially in his chest. And I'm sure he has been working to make all those necessary improvements before this year's Miss Olympia. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.